So as we are discussing the total revenue and total expenditure method, see in every elasticity of price which we discussed earlier, point method, everything, we used to see the relationship between the price and the quantity. But under the total expenditure method, we are seeing the relationship between the price and the total revenue or total expenditure. Whenever there is a change in price, because of the change in price, if the total revenue changes, so what do you mean by the word change? Either it can increase, or it can decrease, or it can still remain constant also. So if it increases or remains constant or decreases, and there is a change in the price, we derive the type of elasticity which is there. So the elasticity under total expenditure method can be of three types, as we know. Where elasticity of price is more than 1, elasticity of price is equal to 1, elasticity of price is less than 1. This is what we discussed. Now, again, whenever the price changes, try to link everything. Whenever the price changes, the quantity also changes, because of which total revenue will also change or total expenditure will also change. Now, if you look into this part, when the price increases, is leading to, okay, I'll put it the other way. In case of an elastic demand, so what do you mean by elastic? The change in price, a percentage change in price, is leading to a bigger percentage change in the total quantity. That is happening. It can be inelastic also. So what is inelastic? When the price changes too much, the quantity demanded is not responding too much. That is called as inelastic demand. Or it can be unitary also. That means whatever the percentage of price is being changing, the same amount of quantity is also being changing in this. Now, as I take an example of the same thing, when it is elastic, when it is inelastic or unitary elastic. What is elastic? Consider earlier example as I told, I am selling 20 rupees price per unit and I am selling 20 units is equal to totally 400 rupees is my total revenue. Now what is elastic? The price increased. I'll take a first example of increase in price, then we can discuss the price decrease part also. The price increased by 10%, leading to quantity decrease of 30%. That is what we call as elastic. Demand responds too much. So if this is happening, what is the new price? So 20 rupees has become 22 rupees now. That is 20 plus 10% is equal to 22. What is the new quantity? Earlier 20 units are there, minus 30%. So 6 units are gone, that is 14 units. If this was the case, you just try to find out 22 multiplied by 14 units is equal to how much? Can you do it?
308.
22 into 14. 308 is just come down to 308. Now if you take an example of this inelastic, when the price increased, and still again taking the price increased part, by 30%, the quantity decreased by only 10%. That means new price equal to 26, the new quantity is equal to 18. So if you do it, 26 multiplied by 18 is equal to 468. And if you do it under unitary, what is happening? Price also increased by 10%, quantity also decreased by 10%. So which is leading to, you can do the calculation, there will be some small decimal correction. The revenue will still stay at 400 rupees only. That is what it happens. Now, whenever there is increase in price, under elastic, unitary elastic or inelastic type of demand, the total revenue responded in three different ways. When the price increased because of elastic demand, the total revenue has come down. 400 has become 308. The total revenue has responded in the opposite manner. Here, even though the price increased, under unitary elastic, the total revenue is still remaining at 400. That means constant. And again, under inelastic demand, when there is increase in price, the total revenue has increased. That is why we tell, when the price is increasing, and the elastic demand, the total revenue will fall. Under unitary, the total revenue will remain constant or same. Or under inelastic, the total revenue will increase. So the questions on this would be, under an elastic demand, when there is an increase in price, what happens to the total revenue? Decrease. Under elastic demand, when the price decreases, what happens to the total revenue? Increase. It remains constant. Here, total revenue will decrease. If you want, you can do that the other part of the solution. Understood? So why this happens? That logic part we already discussed. Still, I will just touch it on and go. So this 308 is a combination of price and quantity. 308 is a combination of price and quantity. If the price is having lesser effect, in fact, compared to the quantity and the total revenue, price is trying to pull the revenue 2 rupees upward. Quantity is trying to pull for every unit 6 rupees, 6 units, that 20 into 6, 120 rupees downward. So because the quantity effect is more powerful, the total revenue has come down. Here, the price impact is more compared to the quantity impact, because of which the total revenue has increased. So it depends on whether it is a which is more powerful. Is the quantity more powerful? Is the price more powerful? Price impact. This is what the total outlay method. Understood now? So that is what we were discussing. Total outlay method. So till this part. So under elastic demand, price increase leading to total revenue decrease. Under unitary elastic, price increase leading to same revenue. Under inelastic demand, price increase leading to total revenue increase. Again, vice versa for all the other things. This is the highest MCQ tested area. Whenever there is elastic demand and the increase in price, what happens to the total revenue? Decrease. That has to be remembered. Very, very clear. If you are not able to remember anything, just go by the concept. Keep 20 and 20 rupees, something, whatever you want to keep. Elastic means quantity should respond more. So increase the price by 10%, decrease the quantity by some 30-40%, you will get the total revenue. That means total revenue has come down. You can take the number and you can do the calculation and answer it in the question itself, in the examination. So this is what total outlay method, which is being discussed. Understood? Now, one small thing which is left under this price elasticity is this part. Interpretation of numerical values of elasticity of demand. Sir, what do you mean by interpretation of numerical values of elasticity of demand? It is as we know, elasticity of price, as we know, elasticity of price, as we know, elasticity of price can be equals to 1. Elasticity of price can be less than 1. Elasticity of price can be more than 1. Elasticity of price can be equal to 0. Or elasticity of price may be infinite. There are 5 types of elasticity. 5 types of elasticity. What do you mean by elasticity of price equal to 1? What do you mean by elasticity of price, which we are discussing? Percentage change in quantity divided by percentage change in price. When the price changes by 10%, demand also changes by 10%, because of which EP is equal to 1. That means if percentage change in price leading to same percentage change in quantity demand. If the price increases by 10%, quantity decreases by 10%. This is what we can call elasticity of price. So 10% divided by 10% is equal to 1. The first way of interpretation. Now, if this is happening, consider what do you mean by it is increasing by 10? Consider rupees 10 has become 11 rupees now. Here it is 20 units has become 18 units. That's what 10% increase in 10% price, leading to 10% decrease in quantity. This is price, this is quantity. Now, if I draw the diagram here, consider 10 rupees, 11 rupees. It is simplicity I'm taking 18 and it is 20. Now you tell me, when the price is at 10 rupees, what was the quantity that is being demanded? 20 units. When the price increased from 10 to 11, what happens to the quantity? That has decreased. Because of which the demand curve we get here is the normal demand curve. Here the system taking mathematics, but it is normal demand curve, normal slope of demand curve. So what are you trying to tell us normal slope of demand curve? When we look into the other part, you will understand. Second one. So if we take an example of elasticity of price is less than 1, that means what? When the price changes by some X percentage, quantity changes by less than that. That's what we call it as elasticity of price is less than 1. It is like a percentage change in price leading to lesser percentage change in quantity demand. Lesser percentage change in quantity demanded. Like when the price increased by 30%, when the price increased by 30%, the quantity demanded has decreased by only 10%. The quantity demanded has decreased by only 10%. So if you do it, 10 by 30 is 0.33 will come as elasticity of price. So elasticity of price equal to 10 is change in quantity divided by 30% is this is equal to 0.33 times it will come. If I just draw the diagram for this, how does it look? So price, it is at P. I don't write the numbers, I directly take. It is P1. That means it is Q and Q1. Now, P increased from P to P1. See, when the price is at P, the quantity is at Q. This is what it is there. When the price increased, the quantity decreased. But the increase in price, 30% increase in price, is led to only 10% decrease in quantity. So, it is 30%, it is 10%, for example. Because of which, the curve looks like this. So, when this happens, how does the demand curve looks? It looks much steeper demand curve. So whenever the elasticity of price is less than 1, the demand curve will be a steeper demand curve. Understand what I'm trying to tell? It is based on elasticity. Elasticity, I am trying to derive the number. What is this more than 1? More than 1 simply means that whatever it is being changing in the price, whatever the change in price is happening, the quantity demand response, a percentage change in price leading to higher percentage change in quantity demand. That means price increased by 10%, quantity decreased by 30%, which leads to 30 by 10 is equal to 3 is the elasticity of price. If this is happening, what happens to the curve? Look at the curve. Earlier, P is there. Now it has become P1. So this is Q, this is Q1. So when this was there, this happened. So a 10% increase in price is led to 30% decrease in quantity. Because of which what happens? The demand curve looks bit like this. We call it as flatter demand curve. Here it is steeper. Demand curve. That is what it is being happening here. One is normal demand curve, one is steeper demand curve. Under what type of elasticity we can see the steeper demand curve? Elasticity is less than 1. Flatter demand curve, more than 1. Now what do you mean by elasticity of price is 0? Elasticity of price is 0 means a percentage change in price, is leading to no change in quantity demand. If the change in the price happens 10, 20, 30, quantity is not responding only, that is why it is 0. That means price increased by 20%, quantity decreased by 0%. Because of which what happens? Price actually increased from P to P1. The quantity wherever it was there, that's it was, still remained at a Q only. That means when it was at this point, this was the demand curve. When the price increased, still it remains on the same point. Again, price increased, still it remains on the same point. Because of which, here, if you see, the demand curve is vertical demand curve. This is a vertical demand curve. This curve is also called as, this is y-axis. So this demand curve is again still parallel to y-axis. It is also called as parallel to price axis. Because this is the price part, price line, price equal again. So, but what about this part? Elasticity of price is infinite. What do you mean by infinite? Infinite means a percentage, a small change, percentage change in price leading to huge change in quantity demanded. Not, I don't want to use infinite change. Even when there is no change in the price, also quantity demand is being changed. That is like price increased 0%, but the quantity decreased like some 70%. It is going on. Price is not being touched on. That is why it is happening like the price is at P and the price is at B. Quantity is at Q. Now this was the demand curve which we used to talk. Now still the same price, it has shifted from Q to Q1, Q1 to Q2, because of which this is a demand curve that is being drawn. So that looks like horizontal demand curve. This is also called as parallel to x-axis or parallel to quantity axis. Parallel to quantity axis. So how do we interpret these elasticities? The elasticities are interpreted based on whether it is equals to 1, more than 1, less than 1, 0 or infinity. Infinity. Here, economist is also given some other names for this. So, when the elasticity of price is equal to 1, we call it as unitary elastic. Unitary elastic. Elastic. When the elasticity of price is less than 1, that means it is responding less. That means we call it as relatively inelastic. Relatively inelastic. It is not 100%. Change ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ, change ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, but ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ change ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, very less change. So this is relatively elastic. Relatively elastic. Then this one and this one, what do we call it as? Huh? Perfectly elastic. Sorry, this is perfectly inelastic. That means irrespective of anything, it is not changing only. That's why it is 0. It is perfectly elastic. These are the interpretation of the numerical values which are there in this part. Yes. Okay. So earlier we discussed all the types of elasticity. That is one category where it almost resembles same. But this interpretation and total outlay method looks similar because they are talking about more elastic, less elastic, unitary elastic, more than 1, less than 1. All these things are there. Understood? You have to read. When you read, you'll understand definitely whatever it is being there. If you don't revise now, it feels like something was going inside there, but if you don't revise, that's over. That is like barricade. It is not easy. Sorry, it is not difficult. But if you don't revise, definitely you can't find much difficult in this topic. So these are the interpretation of numerical values. The examination questions are like, under what type of elasticity the demand curve will be horizontal. Horizontal. Perfectly elastic, or where elasticity of price is infinity. Under what type of elasticity the demand curve is steeper? See, you don't need to buy it and say, look, steeper means what? The price is changing more, quantity is changing very less. That is why it is coming so steeper. That means price just change agi, quantity just change ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is relatively inelastic, where it is less than 1. Steeper demand curve. Flatter means relatively elastic part. Perfectly elastic and perfectly inelastic. This is what the end of the elasticity, that is first one, price elasticity. Remaining things are okay. It is very simple. It is like half an hour concept. Rest everything is just goes like that. Understood? If you have any doubts, you can definitely do ask. but it should be very, very clear in your mind. Don't go with the questioning mind. Sir, I need some time to read. Go home. Don't do any activity. Just open the book. Start revising, and you will get some doubt. Then do ask. If you go home, start watching the movie because there is no class on Saturday and Sunday. Then it's gone. So don't take that risk.